Hey, welcome back to another video, guys. So there was a time in my life where my identity was wrapped up into one thing: how much weight I could pull off the floor. At my strongest, as you can see here on the video, I deadlifted 771 pounds. And if you would have asked me back then, I would have told you that was the goal. That was the point of my training: to get stronger, lift more weight, chase bigger numbers. But today, you're watching me train at home with some dumbbells, right? And some body weight movements, RDLs, some Cossack squats, some simple lower body work, right? Nothing flashy, nothing extreme. And I want to explain why. Because the way I train now has far more positive impact on my actual life than chasing the heaviest deadlift I could possibly hit ever did. When I was chasing a huge deadlift, everything revolved around that movement: my programming, my recovery, sleep, food, stress. Every decision was made through the lens of, well, will this help my deadlift go up? And look, I'm not saying that goal is wrong or anything. If you love powerlifting, if you compete, if that fires you up, that's awesome. But for me, lifting that amount of weight didn't actually improve my life. It improved my ability to lift more weight. That's it. It didn't make me a better mover. It didn't make daily life easier. It didn't make me feel better long term. And if I'm being honest, it probably cost me in a lot of ways. Joint stress, just aches and pains, mental burnout, constant pressure to perform. I was strong on a platform, but pretty fragile everywhere else, honestly. At some point, I had to ask myself a really uncomfortable question: what is the point of being this strong? Not hypothetically, not for Instagram, not for a meat total, but for real life. And the answer wasn't to deadlift 800 pounds. The answer was I wanted to be strong in order to feel good, move well, be capable in day to day tasks, be resilient, train in a way I can sustain for decades. That's when my training completely changed. Now, most weeks, my lower body training looks like this. I do some type of a squat pattern 3 times a week. It might be, jump squats, some Cossack squats, split squats, goblet squats, whatever it may be. Then I do a hip hinge, usually 1 to 3 times per week, depending on how I feel. That hip hinge is in the form of a dumbbell RDL, like you saw in the beginning of the video. And what weight do I use? Well, usually somewhere between 55 and 75-pound dumbbells. That's it. No heavy barbell, no platform needed, no max effort pulls, and yet this is more than enough. And that's a simple point that I do want to try to get across in this video. What I also want to explain is why these specific movements work so well for everyday life. So let's start with the RDL. When I'm doing dumbbell RDLs, I'm training, hamstrings, glutes, my lower back, and a ton of trunk stability. But more importantly, I'm training the ability to hinge at the hips while keeping my spine strong and controlled. That's the exact pattern you're going to use when you're picking something up off the floor, loading groceries into a car, lifting a box, picking up your kid, bending over repeatedly throughout the day for some reason. I mean, those are normal movements that you're going to be doing throughout a normal day. You don't need extreme load to train that pattern effectively. You need good positions, controlled reps, and consistent exposure. And because I'm not one rep maxing, I can recover faster. I can do this week after week, and that's where the real benefit comes in. Now, let's talk about the squat variations, whether it's goblet squats, split squats, or a Cossack squat like you saw earlier. I'm training my quads, glutes, adductors, the ability for my ankles, knees, and hips to work together. Squatting isn't just about leg size, it's about being able to sit down and stand up, get in and out of cars easily, go up and down stairs, move confidently through space, go on those hikes, go to theme parks like I mentioned in my last video. And while doing all of these movements, you're training strength and mobility at the same time. You're building strength and deeper ranges of motion, which is huge for long term joint health and resilience. Again, none of this requires extreme weight. It requires intention and consistency, though. This is where people push back. They're going to say, but is that really enough stimulus or weight? And my answer would be, enough for what? Let's talk about real life strength. Picking things up off the floor, carrying groceries, picking up your kid, bending down, standing up, going up and down the stairs, like I mentioned earlier, and doing those hikes and everything. Living your life without your body feeling like it's constantly on edge. You don't need a 700-pound deadlift or squat. or even a 300 or 400 pound deadlift or squat for that matter. What you do need is consistent exposure to squat patterns, consistent exposure to hinging patterns, and moderate loads done with really good form and focus, good control and a really good range of motion. So, strength is contextual, obviously. You don't need superhuman strength to have a very high quality of life. One of the biggest mistakes people make is confusing stimulus with their ego. Your body doesn't know the numbers, it doesn't know the plates on the bar, but what it does know is tension, effort, consistency. A controlled RDL with dumbbells done regularly is a powerful stimulus. A squat variation done 3 times a week is a powerful stimulus. And the beauty of this approach is it's repeatable, it's sustainable, it doesn't beat you up. It enhances your life instead of consuming it. And that's the trade-off I chose. Another thing I've learned over the years is that if you hinge every week for years, or if you squat in some way a few times a week for years, and if you train in a way that you actually enjoy, you're going to end up far stronger, healthier, and more capable than someone who burns themselves out chasing numbers they don't actually need. Most people don't quit training because it doesn't work. They quit because it stops fitting into their life. What I do now fits into my life. It supports my life and it leaves me with energy for the things that actually matter. I'm proud of the 771-pound deadlift that I did, but I don't need it anymore. That number served a purpose at the time in my life, I guess, but now it definitely doesn't. Today, I train to, like I said, move well and feel good and just be strong enough and enjoy my life outside the gym. So if your training supports your life, it's definitely working. If your training takes away from your life, it's worth rethinking probably. You don't need extreme strength to live an extremely capable life. So that's it for this video, guys. I'm going to go ahead and let the rest of the workout play without any audio, of course. So feel free to stick around and check out what else I did for the workout. But until next time, we'll see you then. Peace.